Later, we'll be discussing Putin's moves and motivations with three people who've been studying Vladimir Putin for decades. But first, oil and gas are two key commodities in this conflagration. The destruction in Ukraine sent energy markets wild today, with oil prices shooting up to $113 a barrel amid signs traders are shunning Russian oil. European gas prices also spiked by a record high as fears grew of disruption to Russian pipeline flows. Russian energy has been exempted so far from Western sanctions, but when President Biden was asked by reporters today about banning Russian oil and gas, he said nothing is off the table. A boycott might make geopolitical sense, but what would it mean economically for the West? Can Europe cope without Russian energy? Ben Chu reports.
It's a question that grows more pressing by the day, by the hour even. Could the West cope without Russian energy? Russian energy has been explicitly carved out of the Western sanctions on the Kremlin. European and US leaders have decided to allow Western firms to keep buying oil and gas from Vladimir Putin. And Russian gas pipeline flows into Europe have actually risen since the invasion of Ukraine. Some see this as a form of madness.
I would like to see a trade embargo from oil and gas as soon as today, as soon as it's physically possible. We shouldn't be sending a 700 million a day to a person who is using this to annihilate, to destroy a country.
With every new Russian military assault in Ukraine, the political pressure grows in Washington, in London, in Brussels for an energy boycott, for a halt to that flow of cash to Moscow. But if that happened, it raises a very difficult question. How would we in the West cope? Remember, Russia provides 40% of Europe's natural gas. Analysts at the Bruegel think tank argue Europe could cope with the instant loss of some 1,670 terawatt-hours per year of Russian gas by drawing down storage, importing more shipments of liquefied natural gas from countries such as Qatar, Australia and the US, and also through emergency measures such as the rapid deployment of electric heat pumps, switching from Russian gas to domestic coal for electricity generation, keeping nuclear power stations running for longer. But they think energy rationing would be necessary too for European industry and for homes.
We need to do a campaign in our society, in our families, to let people understand that if we turn down the thermostat by 2 degrees at home without compromising our comfort, we can already spare some gas. But the big demand reduction will have to come in the industrial sector. This means an orderly curtailment of industrial gas, starting with the industries that are not so-called strategic, food supply chains, etc., and asking them to limit the gas consumption or to be closed for a certain period of time, a couple of weeks.
Now, we might be able to keep the lights on, but make no mistake, going cold turkey on Russian energy would hurt. It would hurt financially, it would hurt industrially, and it would hurt domestically. And though the UK does not import much Russian gas directly, we would certainly suffer too, because the European market price we pay would shoot up still further. As for Russian oil, it's around 1/10 of global production. It may not be officially sanctioned, but traders are increasingly not touching it in any case. That reticence pushed oil prices up above $110 a barrel today. Western petrol and electricity prices will inevitably follow that upwards. To stabilise the market, the US has been pressuring Saudi Arabia to increase its oil production. But the OPEC oil cartel meeting today led to disappointment on this front, with the group saying it would not turn on the taps any more than planned before the Russian invasion.
Well, Russia is the world's second largest oil exporter. It is huge for the market. If there is a full boycott and Western traders refuse to take the Russian oil, we're going to see much higher prices. Demand destruction very much looks like what we saw in 2008 when we went to $150. It means that it really hurts every time that you go to the petrol station and you are filling up the cars. And the economy, for sure, slows down. Inflation will gonna go up. Central banks are going to have to increase monetary interest rates.
Do you think this will actually happen, that Europe will say no more Russian gas?
Honestly, I think that this could happen. If the situation continues to deteriorate, if the scenes we see every day continue, this will happen.
So, can we cope without Russian energy? Quite soon, we might simply have to.
Our economics editor, Ben Chu.